Welcome to Card Players The Circuit, hosted by your favorite set, Scott Huff, Gavin Smith, and Joe Sebok.
That's right, everyone. You are listening to Card Players The Circuit. We are broadcasting on Sports Byline Radio on Sirius Channel 122, on cardplayer.com, and on the iTunes Music Store as a podcast. Scott Huff, Gavin Smith, and Joe Sebok here at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, Nevada. Right with the Bellagio Cup going on right around us right now. $128,000 for first place today at the Bellagio Cup for the $1,000 buy-in, which is $4,000 more than yesterday. Every day it goes up.
Sick.
As there are more casualties of the main event, more people are coming over here to play in the Bellagio Cup.
This is a great tournament. It's great value. I mean, you're starting with a lot of chips. I'm not surprised.
Do you know who won last night?
Yes.
Who? Tell them. Tell the people who know. Sorry, it was actually yesterday afternoon at 2 p.m.
The spook of all spooks. The man who, in the same respect as to what Patrick Antonius is to looks, this guy is to poker, apparently. Michael the Grinder Mizrachi.
Indeed.
Sick son of a gun. Just
he won? I thought he didn't have hardly any chips.
Oh, he had about...
wins another one.
The sick part about it was he sat down over there at the table right next to where we're recording with 80,000 in chips, and within 20 minutes he had 250,000, and the entire table was like had wet themselves and just let him annihilate
wow.
until his stack was huge. And then I actually came back by here after playing in a side game last night, and I saw him collecting his money up on the stage over here. It's 124,000 for the Grinder and 908 more Player of the Year points, which I believe puts him at about 5,800.
How sick is that?
Player of the Year. He's distancing himself. I mean, he wants to. He's said that he wants to pick up Player of the Year points. It's important for him to win, and he's coming out here and doing it. And you know what? He's been chip leader. Apparently, he's been chip leader in that 2 p.m. tournament like 4 out of the last 5 times he played it, and gotten deep like 22nd, 23rd, and then had a big blow-up of some kind or another, and or taken a beat, one or the other. I think one was a big blow-up, one was a beat, and then... but he won one yesterday. So
how many Player of the Year points won it last year?
Like 4,000 something, wasn't it?
I believe men had maybe like 4,900.
Wow!
Yeah.
So he's already above that with several months ago. Yeah,
it's pretty unbelievable stuff. We have a great show for everybody today.
We hate him.
I love Michael the Grinder.
I love him too, but I hate his poker.
Well, you have to deal with it every day. I actually just get to watch it and observe and have fun with it. You have to deal with it in a very real way.
Frickin' robot.
So we have a great show today. We have Hand of the Day. We have Poker Talk with Big G and the Baby Kangaroo. Emails, phone calls. Allie Prescott to talk about his prop bet at the Harrah's New Orleans with Gavin Smith, and more with one Phil Ivey. And the fact that I call him one Phil Ivey has gotten people to start sending in emails that say things like one Phil Ivey.
Oh, yeah? There's probably more Phil Iveys in the world, though, huh?
I don't know.
I would guess.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible.
I bet there is. I bet a lot.
I bet there's a lot. It's a pretty common name.
Really? Phil Ivey is a common name?
But not a common man. But
don't you think some of these people would have contacted him by now asking for money and stuff if there was other Phil Iveys? Like, hey, Phil, we have the same name. We must be related.
Yeah.
Ship me $10 million.
He'd be like, but you're a white blonde person.
That's true.
You can't be related to me.
So why don't you tell us about more bracelet events? No more days off for you guys. The days off are officially over. What was the buy-in today down there?
Tomorrow's a day off.
Well, maybe not. Maybe
I'm
not for Joe Sebok.
I'm going to play here if I get knocked out over there.
Oh, yeah?
You're not going to get knocked out. You're the best around.
You know, I have about 3,500 chips right now, and the only reason I'm not broke is because this guy is, like, seriously has Down syndrome or something, the guy that I was just playing against. It was so...
He seriously has Down syndrome?
No.
Figuratively
he behaves as if he has Down syndrome. He played his hand so incredibly awfully, but he played it so bad that I got away from my 2 kings, so that was nice.
Well, that's
I got
good.
2 kings shoved up my butt today.
Right, you got 2 kings right in the pooper?
2 kings in the pooper. All the money went in on the 8 high flop. I was up against 2 jacks.
Jack on the turn.
It was on the river, but one nice guy says, "Oh, I killed a jack," and then at that point, I knew I was done.
At that point, you know you have no chance.
Every single time they say that they killed a jack,
right, you're screwed.
You're done.
Well, you know what happened to me? Some jerk off. I got all in earlier with deuces. I had 2 deuces. The guy had I don't even remember 2 overcards. And the jackass in the seat 1 goes, "Well, I folded 2 deuces," and then the flop came deuce 6-6, and I was like, "Well, I don't think you folded 2 deuces, my friend."
Count the deck.
Right, exactly.
So you're at 3,500. What's average?
More than that.
Way more than that.
A lot more than that. Yeah,
like 10.
Yeah, what are the blinds when you head back over there?
I guess we're going to 2-4. So I have to get lucky quickly. Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck when you get back over there.
Thank you.
Guys, I don't know if you know this. Well, Gavin knows this. Joe, you don't know this, but The Circuit was a top 10 sports podcast today on the iTunes Music Store.
That's gorgeous.
Boo-rah.
Boo-rah. We're moving on up.
Moving on up.
And the only people really above us
okay.
were all these, ESPN-sponsored podcasts like PTI and Sports Center and all this. So that's kind of, well, not kind of, it is exclusive company to be in, I think.
I think it's amazing. I tried to sing the Jeffersons theme song just now. Nobody would jump in with me.
I'm sorry. I kind of started that off, but
it's all right. That's cool.
But speaking of singing, actually, I didn't mention this in the beginning of the intro here. Gavin Smith and Kenna James did a duet of "My Way" at the what's the name of the charity?
The Wounded Warrior Project.
Wounded Warrior Project. And we're going to play a clip of that for everybody.
Oh, you have it?
Fairly soon. Yes, we do.
Oh, that's great.
By the way, Gavin's voice when he sings karaoke is amazing. Especially when he gets... Hopefully we have a clip where he's super Canadian. That's my favorite part, is when the super Canadian comes out. All right, now it's time for some World Series of Poker news. World Series of Poker news. It's Slamastica. Yeah. People love that.
Yeah.
So emerging from day 2B in the top 10, Dimitri Nobles leads the way with 549,200. He's actually here right now in the room somewhere.
Dimitri.
That's right.
No, I don't know who that is. Who's Dimitri Nobles?
He is a guy who is now leading actually all players heading into day 3.
Yeah.
Day 3 with his 549,000. But guess who else is up there? Daniel Negreanu, 331,000. Alex Belandon, 274,800. Your good buddy. I
have no ill will towards Alex Belandon. I always thought he was nice. He just played a hand really badly and got lucky. So I'm not going to be the one to send him a pipe bomb. If his house explodes, it was not me who did it. Even if it was, wires that you may or may not find in my garage at home. It wasn't me.
But you did come up with that slogan for him, though, right?
What slogan?
Alex Belandon riding Queen Jack to the World Series of Poker Championship.
I didn't come up with it. It wasn't me.
That wasn't. Oh, that must have been me.
No. Yeah, it wasn't me.
I think it was me.
Riding Queen Jack to the 12 million.
Riding Queen Jack to the moon. Dan Heimiller also survived there in the top 10, or actually top 30. Sorry, day 1B. The overall top 40 now. Yuri Kaczynski is in second place behind Dimitri Nobles with 443,300. Jeffrey Losandro, Alan Cunningham, also both in the top 40. Other notables still alive: Ted Forrest, John Gale, David Chu, Umberto Brenes, Cindy Violet, Josh Aryeh, Nam Lee, Alan Schulman, the only card player team member still alive.
There you go.
Carlos Mortensen, Lane Flack, Freddie Deeb, this guy named Jesus.
This guy named God.
And one Phil Ivey.
And one Philip Ivey.
And did you mention Theo Tran?
Theo Tran, yeah.
Where's Theo at? Well, he wasn't in the top
about
50.
130.
130, that's plenty.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's more than I would kill
Militant.
for 130.
So are there any? Can you actually distinguish an early favorite at this point out of who we have left?
Obviously.
I mean, you can say Daniel because he's got the most, and
he's got a ton of chips and he can play, and he's tough when he's got chips.
Yeah, the favorite's always going to be at this point. The pro with the most chips is going to be the favorite. So if Daniel can hold on to him, he'll maintain that being the favorite. If Phil goes on a huge rush and gets a bunch of chips, then he'll become the favorite.
So you feel like you can still distinguish this, though, on day 3. You can say that there's a favorite, even if it's
it doesn't mean anything.
There's always a favorite.
Yeah, there's always a favorite. It doesn't mean anything. But if you're asking me would I put money on Daniel right now, no, I still wouldn't put money on him.
Right, because we're still over 1,000 players.
But he's definitely a favorite right now, for sure.
You would definitely bet on Daniel individually against anybody left in the tournament, though.
Sure, if I had to. But I still would take the field against Daniel at this point.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
And now it's time for Poker Talk with Big G and the baby kangaroo.
I love this segment. Has it grown on you guys yet, or what?
No.
Not at all.
Well, today we're going to talk about playing multi-way pots.
Okay.
Just some considerations for playing multi-way pots rather than playing heads up or short-handed.
Word.
And Gavin's giving me a look.
I don't know what you want me to say about it.
Well, the difference in the types of hands that you play. Exactly. The difference in the way you play in a multi-way pot versus playing, let's say, when you go heads up to the flop.
Well, I mean, in a multi-way pot, you have to hit the flop more often. Like you're not just going to bet with air. I mean, if you have, like, for instance, it happened to me when I was short today. I had ace king. I was down like 500 in chips. I made it 100 because I really wanted to make sure I only played it. Mine was 25-25. I made it 100, which is way more than it's more than I normally raise. Mm-hmm. And I got 4 callers. So here's the hand that I was sure that if it was heads up, no matter what the flop was, I was going to go with this hand. I was going to put my chips in the pot. Now, because it was 4-way, the flop came up all small cards, and I was forced to check fold.
Right.
So you gotta hit something in a multi-way flop. You can't go on air as often.
Yeah, I generally have that rule of always betting after the flop for the most part. But it's a great example of ace king, and then if the flop comes like jack 10, 8, I mean, I'm not even betting into that with 4 or 5 people because there's no point. I mean, that's right in everybody's wheelhouse. Somebody's going to pick up something and slap you silly, so it's really just wasting money. Hands that you want to play, are all your sneaky little hands. Your small pairs, the flop a set, your suited connectors, all kinds of things like that. Hands you do not want to play in multi-way pots are your big pairs, your aces, your kings, your hands that you're going to get tied into. When they're typically with that many people in the pot, there are going to be a lot of draws out. There are going to be a lot of sneaky hands they could have, and you could get locked in. So something to keep in mind when you're playing in multi-way pots.
Well, I learned my lesson last night about building a big pot multi-way with 2 aces. I made a little mistake that cost me a lot of money.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was there was a raise in front of me from this guy who had raised a lot of pots, was really aggressive, and I was kind of hoping there wouldn't be a lot of callers behind, so I just flat called him in position. And then all of a sudden behind me, one Justin Shrunk. I don't know why he just got the same distinction as Phil Ivey with the 1. So we'll just say Justin Shrunk called me in position as well. Another guy called behind. All of a sudden, my 2 aces comes Queen, Jack, Rag.
So bad.
Bet raise. Bet all in. Call.
You called all
Queen,
in or
Jack.
Moved all in?
No, I don't know if I called all in. We got a decent amount of money in the middle.
Was this the hand that prompted the 3 a.m. text message to me last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the one that I got my head kicked in by poker.
I woke up this morning and I had a text from Scott at like 3 a.m. and it was like, "Are you up?" And I knew nothing good could come of it. I knew something bad had occurred.
It was me calling for a lifeline. I'm a phone a friend. Phone a friend. Now it's time for our hand of the day.
Nice hand, sir.
This one was emailed in, and it involves one of the players who's still alive in the main event, Josh Aryeh. Hand of the day. Hey guys, love the show. I've only slept 1 hour last night thinking about a hand, so I need your help. Wow. World Series of Poker last night. The level is 200, 400 with a $50 ante. I was moved to the table 2 hours before, came in with 19,000, and this table is now redonkulous. The average chip stack is around 35,000, 2 or 3 huge stacks over 60,000. My table image is ultra tight, even though I consider myself a loose player who loves to steal blinds and win small pots. Josh Aryeh has position on me and calls. He has the ace-jack suited, our hero here.
What position was he? Where was he sitting?
He did not mention his exact position.
Okay, well...
But he raised with ace-jack.
Okay, if he's in early position, I wouldn't even raise with that hand. Especially with those chips. Especially with that many people behind him, where it's going to be tough for him to play. I wouldn't have raised with it.
What would you have done?
I would have folded. I don't play ace-jack with short stacked in early position.
Would you call that what? Is he really short stacked there? 200, 400?
No, if he's at a table where it's 60,000, the average is 35, and he only has 19, then he's short stacked. Okay, you're always short stacked in relation to the other people at your table. That's what determines whether you're short stacked.
I think he made the right play raising the ace-jack suited.
Well, here's what happened. The flop came down Jack 5-4 with 2 diamonds.
It was suited. I agree with suited. Excuse me. I take it all back. Everything I just said. Go ahead.
Fantastic.
I didn't realize it was suited.
Well, they weren't diamonds, that's for sure, because it came the Jack of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, 4 of hearts. So Jack 5-4, 2 diamonds. He checks. Josh Aryeh bets 2,200. He raised to 5,600.
Okay, why did he check? He's the lead. That was stupid. I wouldn't have checked.
Why not?
Because you have the lead. You're expected to bet. I mean, when somebody raises into me and then they check the flop, it generally tells me that they have a good hand. So I check behind them.
Yeah, but Josh isn't the type of guy to check behind very often. Josh, I think the check's a pretty good play against a guy like Josh.
Okay.
He's gonna try to take that pot away a lot of times, and if he's got like air, Josh could have ace-10 there. He'll bet that flop for sure, but he'll fold to a bet for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, this is what ended up happening. He check raised him to 5,600, like you said. And then Josh pushed all in instantly. And he still had 15,000 in front of him. So he had a little over 19,000 when the hand started. He said he went to the table with 19,000. He had obviously built it up a little bit more, over 20,000.
Josh probably had a diamond.
I would probably call. It's probably the diamond.
Yeah, you got to call.
Unfortunately, it's a really good chance it could be like 6, 7 of diamonds where you're kind of like...
Right, yeah. You're the big dog.
Schmillied.
Schmillied. I hate being schmillied.
But I mean, he's going to get himself right back in the tournament if he wins.
Yeah, he has to call. On the flop, he can't fold that.
Well, he says, I've played with Josh maybe 4 or 5 times. I really don't think he has a set or an overpair, but all semi-bluff hands give him between 11 and 14 outs. After 5 minutes, I fold, mainly because I know the table breaks after the end of the day. He shows the 4 of diamonds.
So he had
That's it.
Draw.
And then
parent flush draw.
Yeah, parent flush draw. He would have been the favorite over him, probably.
No way Josh has a set in that situation?
No. I doubt it. Ace-4 diamonds.
Yeah, no. I agree.
How's he playing a set in that spot then? If he did have 2 4s, what would he have done differently on that flop?
He'd probably call.
Yeah, I would have just called.
He'd probably just
call a raise and give the guy a chance to push in on the turn.
Right.
His feelings were that he felt like he didn't want to call off all of his chips in the main event, and that he still probably had a lot of outs if he did call. Mm-hmm. And so that's why he made the lay down.
If Josh did have the ace 4 of diamonds, he was a favorite. Or the ace jack. Oh, well, no, I take it back. He's not the favorite.
Quite.
Yeah, I take it back because he's got his ace. Yeah,
But
I take it back.
you also could have like 3-4 of diamonds or 2-4 of diamonds. You could have a lot of different things where he might go to a small favorite. But the big thing is, I think there is that people really, 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 especially in the main event of the World Series, really take too far. I don't want to go out calling all my chips off in the World Series because, damn it, you're going to have to call your chips at some point. Right. You know, whether it be day one or day whatever. I mean, you know, you don't want to let yourself get like hopelessly short stacked when you've got a really good chance. There's a really good chance that you've got the best hand there, and I mean. You're gonna have to play poker, man.
Yeah, and I think we always use those cliches on the show. You don't want to call off, your chips. We use all these different things, but there's always in poker, an exception to every rule. So keep that in mind.
All right, right after this, phone calls and emails for us right here on the circuit.
I'm Howard Lederer, and I'm a member of Team Full Tilt, along with other top poker pros like Phil Ivey, Chris Ferguson, Jennifer Harmon, Eric Seidel, and Phil Gordon. Come learn, chat, and play with all of us at fulltiltpoker.com.
Welcome back to the circuit, everyone. Scott Huff, Gavin Smith, and Joe Sebok from the Bellagio in Las Vegas talking a little poker. And now it's your chance to interact with us. Danny, take it away, buddy.
Scott, Gavin, and Joe, this is Matt from Phoenix, Arizona. My question is about a swap my friend offered to pay half my buy-in for an upcoming Arizona State Poker Championship that's coming up for half of my winnings should I cash. Is that a good swap? I am thinking about taking a backer for it anyways, and he offered to do 50%. I was wondering if the 50% swap, does that equate to the 15% that he gets back? So, anyways, thanks guys. Have a good day.
It's a great deal for the guy that's only putting up 50%, because normally you'll buy somebody in, then you'll chop the winnings, and then the guy who actually put up the money gets his buy-in back. So it's a great deal. It's a better deal than normal because he's only putting up 50% of the money.
Well, it's a good deal for him, not for the kid who's
right, exactly. That's what
I think
I'm
a lot depends on, there's other factors here. Like, is he a good friend? Can you afford to play the event by yourself if you don't take your backer? Are you an accomplished player, or are you a relative newbie? I think all those are factors you have to consider. And if you're kind of a new player who can't really afford it and needs that, then give the man par. Because I know that Eric and I have taken lots of pieces of people over the years just at par, and just because they weren't going to play the event because they couldn't afford to. But if you can afford to play it, if you're a good player, and if all those are factors involved in this situation, then he should give you a little equity for that, and maybe get if it's a one-time deal, he probably should get about 40% or so for his 50.
All right, next call.
Hi, this is Tyler from Los Angeles. You used my question in the most recent interview with Joe Hashem, but the reason I'm calling is this. My sister's birthday is coming up, and she thinks Joe Sebok is really, really attractive. So I was wondering if there's any way I could get a card player shirt or hat or something, preferably a hat for her, signed by Joe Sebok. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Does she not know that I'm the third sexiest eligible?
I don't think she got the memo. Okay. Well, Tyler, I'll be happy to sign anything for your sister as long as we have it. So I guess we just need to get his address and we'll ship it on out there. You got it, brother. I am missing though the. Why wouldn't you want a sign? You should be on in Tiger Beat or something. There should be a signed picture of you. I don't understand what the hat does. That doesn't. She's she thinks that you're very attractive. But can you get me a signed card player hat? Does that sound like a scam to anyone else but me? It might be a scam. It might be a big lie. My sister thinks you're really cute. Can you put me in the main event next year? Because that would really make her happy.
All I know is it's true. Joe really is just a freaking damn attractive man, and it makes it hard sometimes to do the show. All the girls coming up and beating on him and stuff, and I hate it when they beat on me. They could just look at me. They don't have to beat on me. Joe, props to your beauty, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I really think that you're going to end up in one of those teen magazines, and then you can teach us about really playing multi-word pots.
I don't think I'm anywhere near attractive enough to get into Teen Beat, but I appreciate the vote of confidence, boys.
You're so attractive, someone wants a hat. Anyways, here's some. Do we have any more phone calls? All right, time for some emails here. If the pros could comment on the way I played this hand from event number 6, the $2,000 No Limit Hold'em this year, I'd appreciate it. It is 40 minutes into level number 1, 25-25, and I'm on the button with 2,050 in chips. Under the gun and under the gun plus 1, who both have me out chipped, both limp. The rest fold to me, and I find the queen of clubs, queen of spades. I make it 150 to go. Both blinds fold and both limpers call, so there's now $500 in the pot.
Okay.
The flop is 10-6-3 with 2 diamonds. Both players check to me, and I bet 400. Both players call. There's now 1,700 in the pot. Turn is the 9 of hearts. So now the board reads 10-6-3-9 with 2 diamonds. And under the gun bets 250, and under the gun plus 1 calls. At this point, I took a long time deciding what to do and just called.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Gavin almost just vomited all over the table. Why would you possibly just call and give everyone a chance to hit the draws that are out there?
Isn't that a suspicious bet on the turn by the under the gun
Of course
guy?
it is. It's a defensive bet. He's trying to bet and see what happens. That's why you push in at that point.
Well, the river was the 10 of diamonds. There was the 10 of diamonds under the gun.
So now this guy came third. Mr. Queens came third because the guy with the 10 beat him and the guy with the diamond drop beat him.
Right. Are we right?
We'll see. Ready? The river was the 10 of diamonds. Under the gun bet 1,000. Under the gun plus 1 pushed. I sadly folded, and under the gun insta-called. Under the gun shows ace 10 offsuit, and under the gun plus 1 shows the ace of diamonds, queen of diamonds for the
That's what we're talking about.
Flush.
Whereas he probably could have pushed them both off their hand had he moved in on the turn.
I think there was a few mistakes in that hand, though.
Break it down.
The turn is obviously the biggest mistake, but I mean, first mistake, I think, when you get 2 limpers in there, I don't think you want to make it 3 times the blinds.
No way.
You know, you've got 2 queens there. You're adding, like, you can pick up $175 with very little risk, with almost no risk there. I mean, that's 10% of your stack. That's what's going good there. So I think he should have probably been making it maybe like 300 pre-flop. I think his raise was too small. On the flop, I mean, he's got to be putting in an oversized bet there. There's draws out there. And there's $500 in the spot, and now you can add 25% to your stack by getting these people to get out of your way. I mean, you've got a very vulnerable hand with 2 queens, so it's time to kick it up and make. I would probably, if there's 500 in the pot, I think you should be betting somewhere around about $800 on the flop, and making it so these people know you're committed to this hand. And then, of course, on the turn, I mean,
that's just unbelievable.
I mean, seriously, my 7-year-old nephew would know to push in there.
And he hasn't even played cards. He's
never played a hand to hold him in his life. But, I mean, that's just an atrocious play. But, you probably get called anyway, so what the hell? You'll probably stay
on the turn?
Yeah, probably.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, it sounds a lot like...
The ace-10 probably calls you. I mean, the flush draw might get it, but the ace-10 probably calls you.
It sounds a lot like the situation that I had in the 2,500, where it was again a decision of folding or raising,
right? And you do the compromise.
And you do the compromise play.
It's always what I talk about. You always get in that situation where you're like, shit, I know I should either just let this go right now or I should raise. And what a lot of players do is they make the compromise play and they call, which is almost always the absolute worst thing that you can do.
I like the way you named it, the compromise play.
The compromise play.
I like that.
It's bad news.
Never heard that before.
Yeah.
Don't compromise.
Ever.
All right, the next email says, "What's up, guys? Gavin, I was watching the Heads Up portion of the World Series of Poker circuit event on ESPN, and I think I noticed a tell. In the hand where you hold Jack 5 and hit your third 5 on the turn, you immediately make a quick glance towards your chips, even though you were the second to act. I think this is one of the most reliable tells that I have seen in some time, and some of the best players out there even gasp myself." He actually wrote gasp into the email.
Yeah.
Do it subconsciously all the time. As much as I would love a chance to exploit this at some far-off final table in my future and then rub it in your face, I figure I owe you for entertaining me at work every day. Don't mention it.
Wow.
Nice work on the show, guys.
Don't
Keep it up, and can't
mention
wait to be a guest next summer when I clean up at my first World Series of Poker. Gasp.
Wow, this guy's full of moxie.
I guess you got me. I guess I'm a tell machine, and that's probably why I didn't win the event.
It's probably why you haven't been able to, do anything in poker.
It's amazing
the last
how
couple years.
It's amazing how you're playing against Peter Feldman's a pretty damn good poker player, and I still doubled up in the hand. So I don't think your tell was all that reliable. And in fact, I probably don't think it was a tell. I think it was probably more looking at my drink or the felt or
my drink
or a bug that walked in front. I don't know, but I mean, or maybe just I dropped something. I don't know what the hell, but I don't really think I look at my chips all that often, to be quite frank with you. I look at my drink a lot.
Well, the thing, too, is it goes back to something Phil Ivey mentioned on the show last night. I mean, the shows are so heavily edited that could be from... I mean, the cheering you see when someone hits a hand, sometimes if you really look closely in the crowd, you can see that it's someone cheering for a player that they clearly don't like.
Right. Well, it's all
it's all edited. So Gavin
edited.
could have been looking at his chips, when he was doing a count.
Exactly.
And it wouldn't really mean anything. And that's a danger. That's actually, strangely enough, this has turned into a decent strategy segment because if people are at home watching, looking to try to pick things up on players from an edited telecast, and I think they're going to use them when they come out here. Save your time.
Bad mistake.
Save your money. It is a mistake.
And don't deduce that someone is a great and or a horrible player based on what you've seen on television. Again, the editing changes everything. So don't think that these guys all the time.
Now, maybe if you watch a live telecast, I picked up a tell on Eric Seidel during the live telecast of the Full Tilt Poker Learn from the Pros.
Really?
That Mike Matiso told me was correct.
Yeah.
On that particular day. It may not be all the time, but I plan on fleecing Eric now for all of his money.
Good luck.
All right, we have an email here. It says, "Hi, guys. Keep up the great show. I would like to hear what Joe and Gavin think about this idea for main event. How about making 2 entry levels, one as now for 10,000 and one for 100,000 at the time when the field has been decimated to 1/10 of the original? Only 1 entry per player, so the players must decide beforehand if they want to go for the 10K or the 100K input. Why I suggest this? Well, I like the idea that a newcomer is winning the World Series of Poker, but I also like to see a fair amount of the top pros in contention for the title. I want to see the likes of Phil Hellmuth, Daniel Negreanu, Doyle Brunson, Gavin Smith, Phil Ivey up there in contention when it gets serious. Do you like the idea?"
Not me, apparently.
Do you like the idea?
Nope. I don't like the idea.
I got to be honest, I wasn't listening.
I don't like the idea because it's a tournament. It's open to everybody. Everybody's on equal footing. If you start to screw at that, then it changes everything. And so I don't like it for that reason. And he didn't even list me. He wants to see all those pros in contention, but not me, apparently.
True enough. Well, now we have a very special treat because Gavin Smith and Kenna James rocked the house at the Wounded Warriors Project fundraiser.
I want first off, though, I would like to apologize in advance for what you're about to hear.
For the beat you are about to receive.
Well, so me and you, we started in the trenches. We fought our way up. And how do we do it, Kenna James?
We did it. And now...
You start. And now... And is near.
Come on, Joe.
Wow.
So I
beautiful.
Sing with us, bro.
I don't know the words.
Sing with us.
Final curtain.
We have to wait until he gets super Canadian. It's awesome.
My friends.
It's like there is no doubt.
Say it clear.
I'm all about.
I'll state my case.
I'll state my case.
Which I'm certain. I've lived.
Gavin's
A
lived
life that's full.
a life that's full of alcohol.
And every highway.
Every highway
And more.
and more.
Much more than this.
Much more than this.
I did it Gavin's way.
That's pretty incredible.
I ate it up
Whoa, sweet sack of muffins.
and spit it out. I tasted all. And I stood tall. And I did it Kenna's way.
I loved, I've laughed and cried.
I'm a huge fan of this, by the way. How much money did this raise?
I don't know. We should sell copies of the CD.
Most definitely.
Okay, so now you have to vote, Joe Sebok.
Yes.
Better song, Marcel Luke's Poker, 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 or Gavin Smith and Kenna James singing Frank Sinatra's My
Well,
Way.
I love them both. There's no question about that. And they both bring their own flavor to the poker community. But if I have to make a decision, I got to go with Big G and his squealing dog version of My Way.
The super Canadian squealing dog version of My Way.
Most definitely. And I love Marcel. I love him. But this is good stuff that we're listening to, people.
Well, what's next on the docket for the Wounded Warrior Project? Is there anything else going on poker-wise?
I'm not too sure. I know they're planning on doing a lot of really cool things. Sun Poker, who Kenna's with, I've really taken a hands-on approach to helping out with it, and they're donating a lot of stuff and everything. And I think that there is talk of Kenna and perhaps I may go with them, and a few other people may go over to Iraq and visit the boys that are out there doing it.
Playing some poker?
I'll play a little poker with them, you know.
It's very cool. Looks like we just got an email in during this. Oh, the end. Hold on.
How did you not know the words to My Way, by the way?
I should. I really, to be honest with you, I've never even heard that song.
My mother used to play that on the piano all the time when I was
growing up. It's weird because I listen to a lot of music, but I've never heard it.
All time.
Yeah, it's especially with you singing it.
Just want to let everybody out there know that Card Player does have exclusive coverage of this main event that is going on at the World Series of Poker at the Rio. One thing you won't hear, though, is Gavin Smith and Kenna James singing down there.
You might.
Unfortunately.
That's not true.
You never know when Kenna James and I might sing.
Yeah,
so you guys might break out and do something like during the main event, so you just might show up and sing?
Yeah, you might.
I love the idea of it. But we will be there 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, even though it's impossible, bringing you live updates, chip counts, video updates. And although we're over here at the Bellagio, there will be more circuit all the way through the main event.
Hell yeah.
People are very concerned right now about what's going to happen to the circuit afterwards. I'm getting emails from people like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do if it's not on Monday to Friday. And, we're figuring it out. Just so everyone out there knows, we're going to figure out our scheme. It most likely will not be a Monday through Friday show. These guys are professional poker players, although you have become professional radio hosts and professional friends.
I love the circuit.
I want you to know I pride myself in being as unprofessional as possible in everything I do.
Yeah, we're going to get angry if you start calling us professionals. We don't want to be professional.
I just want to clear one other thing up, too, before we bring in Allie Prescott and the second half of our Phil Ivey interview, which is we got a phone call today from some guy going, you're not on Sirius. Seriously, you're not on Sirius. And I was like, all right, listen, here's how it works. From 8:06 to 9 a.m. on Sirius Channel 122, you can hear the circuit. If you're looking for it on some sort of guide online, or you're looking to try to find it, you are not going to find it. We are the second half of the Sports Memo program, which is a sports betting program. But if you listen from 8:06 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, every day, Monday through Friday, on Sirius Satellite Radio, you will hear the circuit. Period. End of story. There's nothing else to say about it. We're on there. Stop challenging us before I get angry. You know how I get.
Or if you do want to challenge us, come down here and challenge us to a gladiator bout.
There you go.
Because I don't want to hear the serious stuff. And we'll put on the gear. We have shields. We have swords. I'm happy to do it.
And unfortunately, and a very unfortunate announcement for the circuit to have to make tonight. The poker circuit has lost one of its very good friends in Paul Hannum, who was a videographer and the second camera unit for the World Poker Tour. He was the guy bringing you all of the stuff that you didn't see when the World Poker Tour cameras were on the stage. Paul was a good friend of everyone here on the circuit. He was actually a guest on the circuit one night, a great friend to all of us, and we will miss him greatly out here on tour in the next year for the World Poker Tour. I think I speak for everyone when I say that. And when we come back, we will have Allie Prescott and Phil Ivey for everyone right here on the circuit. Ever dreamed of attending the Super Bowl? Or maybe your dream is to attend golf's The Masters. Or maybe you're even like Joe Sebok and would like to attend the Polar Penguin Sumo Championships. Whatever your dream sporting event is, Card Player would like to help you get there. If you subscribe now to Card Player Magazine at the new low price of $19.99, you'll be entered into our special World Series of Poker subscription contest for a trip for two to any sporting event anywhere in the world. We have a very special guest on the circuit right now. You may remember him from the telecast of Gavin's final table at the Harrah's New Orleans World Series of Poker circuit event. Allie Prescott, how's it going?
It's going great.
We basically just have one question to ask you. Why in the world would you bet Gavin $700,000 that he couldn't win a tournament where he had chips?
It's actually a really simple answer. You see, we were playing pool, and I think I was up 300, so $1.7 million bet seemed in order.
It's simple math, really, when you get right down to it.
You know, the prize pool was 1.5, which really wasn't juicy enough. We thought we'd, make it interesting.
So, in the gambling community, we've had people ask about this before with the way people make these crazy prop bets. And who were we talking to about it that said they were pretty terrible with it? Twan Lee was saying that you got to pay these bets back. Were you actually planning on paying Gavin the $700,000 if he had won?
I think I was going to have to pay him. I just wasn't planning on him winning.
Right
at the time.
You hadn't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
Where you consider.
Describe the emotion when he got it in with the two kings against the two sixes. Then.
Describe the emotion. I was shitting my pants, actually, as I remember. I was up on stage. He was kind enough to bring me up there so I could have a close view. Right. And I almost swallowed my tongue on stage when the first six hit.
Yeah, and then did you see the way he turned away and smirked?
Well, no. But I wanted to add in, actually, you could have reacted when the six hit a lot more, jubilantly, if you will. But you had a lot of class. You didn't rub it in. You just turned around. A smirk is about the minimum. Anybody's going to smirk when they don't lose.
I was okay with it.
But I was just going to say you showed a lot of class with not. I would have grabbed Caveman by his dome and rubbed his head on the felt if it was me. That happened to.
I want to be known as a classy idiot. if nothing else.
Classic moron.
I got to have something going for me. I'm not very good at poker, and I'm not very good at side bets, but at least I have a little class.
Well, I have to ask, and this is kind of a personal thing, but the first time I ever met you was playing 1-3 no limit at the Win, and you were pretty much the only player at the table that seemed like that didn't clue what they were doing. How do you go from the 1-3 no limit game to being on television with the great Gavin Smith, and also making it pretty deep in a couple of events?
It was such a great 1-3 limit game. I ran that up to 700,000, which sort of allowed me to make the bet. I highly advise everyone to stop by at the Win if they have a chance.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in future prop bets, although I guess you got the lucky end of it since you didn't have to pay Gavin the 700,000.
No, we're finding a bowling alley here sometime soon. I brought in a ringer. He doesn't know it yet.
All right. Thanks, Allie.
Yeah. See y'all guys.
Card Player is proud to announce that all books and DVDs will be 50% off for a limited time. From Doyle's Super System to Phil Hellmuth's instructional DVDs, you can find everything you need to improve your game at pokerstore.cardplayer.com.
Hi, this is John D'Agostino, and you're listening to The Circuit.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you would say that you're pound for pound the biggest gambler in the world. Is there any story we can share?
I mean, I wasn't. I was just talking junk.
Well, are there any marginal gambles you can tell us about? Something fun that the people at home will go, oh man, I didn't know Phil Ivey did that, or that he played that for money, or just a tidbit about you into your mind that people don't usually get.
Tidbit about me.
Sure. You're kind of an enigma out there, Phil. I don't think a lot of people know too much about you, and that's probably the way. That's probably the way you are.
What's that mean?
Yeah, they do that mystery. They do that shit to me every night. They always pull up words that I don't know, Phil.
You're a mystery.
Oh, a mystery. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
It's crap.
You know what it means.
Thanks,
you know what it means.
It's crap. They try to talk above us all the time.
Yeah, I know.
And he remains an enigma. No, do you? I mean, there's nothing that.
What you mean as far as what that I've gambled on?
I mean, people know that you gamble pretty big on golf. I mean,
yeah.
That's one thing you do. Okay. Is there anything else that you do that might be of interest to the people out there that you'd be willing to divulge? And if not, we can move on.
I mean, I don't know of anything else I gamble on golf. I play craps occasionally. I mean, I stopped for the most part, but every once in a while I'll indulge. And then I play a little. When I go down to Australia, I play baccarat.
What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever gambled on? Somebody came up to you and was like, "Hey, will you bet me $1,000 that so and so isn't sitting in that chair?" Or just some ridiculous prop bet that was for fun, but maybe got out of hand.
We were down in Phoenix, I was down in Phoenix, and it was pretty hot out, so we took 2 pieces of ice and we put it on the rail, and we bet on which ice will melt first.
I can tell you.
I lost that one, by the way.
How much was riding on an ice cube? I gotta know. How much was riding on an ice cube?
I think we bet like 5,000.
I can tell you one thing Phil doesn't bet on, and that's basketball.
Oh, no.
Here we go. No. Let me tell a story. Phil and I were down in Guyana with our good friend Victor Ramden a couple years ago. He was talking all this shit about how he's getting in shape, starting to go running. He even has a personal trainer down there. So I've been running, every day for a couple years. I said, all right, Phil, well, I used to play basketball. Let's play some basketball. So Phil started talking all this trash. Yeah, I'll take you anytime. And then he realized that I run all the time. Realized I was actually in pretty good shape. So then, I said, okay, we'll play. I just need some odds, right? Because Phil's a big guy.
Oh, so now he needs odds.
Of course I need odds. He's 6'1".
Now he needs odds. He played basketball.
Phil, he really needs odds.
By the way, his father's pound for pound the best athlete
the world has ever known.
Just ask him.
No, we know Joe's terrible at basketball. Continue.
No, Joe's
you're
not
pretty
terrible.
You're pretty bad.
Well, if I'm so bad, then you should be happy to play.
Oh, I am happy to play. We're just going to have to play for something.
I'm happy.
I don't want to break a sweat for nothing.
Here's the odds. You have much more money than me, so I can only put up so much money.
No, Barry will put up the money, of course.
Well, Barry can put it. If Barry wants to put up the money, that's fine.
Yeah, of course he'll put up the money.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll work something out. We'll play.
I've been waiting for about a year or two now.
We'll figure something.
Right.
We got to figure out the right game.
No, we got to figure. Oh, just play straight up 1-on-1.
If it comes down to that, I'll play you straight up 1-on-1. But right. I figure you're gonna have to give me some. You're just a walking athlete. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to give me something.
I'll tell you one thing you shouldn't gamble with Phil on. Although I didn't have to gamble, luckily, is Pac-Man. It's pretty well publicized as well. That's a clip that's getting around on the internet. As you whooping my ass at Pac-Man, pretty bad.
Yeah,
you see the score I posted?
Yeah, I've done that up pretty nice.
Yeah, people have actually approached me in poker rooms now and gone, man, how'd you lose that bad to Phil Ivey? I'm like, I don't know, because he's better than I am at Pac-Man. And I put up a 54.90. That's not a good score.
Bad.
That's a pretty pathetic score.
I know when it comes down to ridiculous bets, though, Phil made a really stupid bet recently. He bet that Eric Lindgren could not dunk a basketball.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why is that a stupid bet?
I lost $20,000 on that bet there. I never saw the videotape. The guy has calves bigger than Popeye. I don't know how he won that bet.
But you haven't seen it though, right?
I haven't seen it. I have a feeling that I got the raw end of that deal.
Yeah.
So one thing that's pretty well publicized as well, you don't usually do stuff like this. We dragged you out of the big game to come do this for us, and we really appreciate it. But now that you are this celebrity, and obviously you get hounded down at the Rio, did you ever, was it when you picked up poker?
But go ahead.
No, when you picked up poker, did you ever think that it would be something that would lead to any fame? Did you care about it?
No, I didn't think that. I play poker. My mother didn't want me playing. My pops didn't want me playing. I mean, the only one who really didn't say anything was my grandfather. He was just like, do whatever the hell you want to do. You're stubborn like me. You're going to do whatever you want to do anyway. So, I didn't really think anything about it. I just thought it was an easy way to make some money.
And now, do you care that you're a celebrity? Is it something that you like? I don't
like to be disturbed while I'm eating, and I don't like to be following to the bathroom. Other than that, it's cool. Nobody likes to be pissing. Somebody comes up, like. You know what I'm saying?
I guess the question is, if you could have everything that you have right now and take away all the celebrity bullshit, would you do that?
Yes, I would.
You would just, which is what I figured. You just do away with it, take the money, and you could play and be at peace.
Yes, I would, but there's no way to do it. But
no, of course you can't.
There's no way you could do that because all the money's
right.
That's why I made a lot of my money because of that.
Of course.
All the endorsements I have. Which is zero.
Which is zero.
Well, you're such an outgoing guy, I can't understand why you don't have
That's true. My personality is just...
Every day I see Philly runs up, gives me a hug, right before we start playing. It's a beautiful moment.
That's right. Break down the mystique.
Phil, what's the deal with the other night? Jawanda tells me something about you goofballs wanting to play Monopoly for real money.
Yeah, we played. They wanted to play Monopoly, so we play 15,000 a man Monopoly. And somehow they screwed me on the rules because they said that the only way you could trade is if 3 people agreed to the trade. We're playing five-handed. So, I ended up getting all the property. I got more property than everybody else, but I never got a Monopoly.
Right.
So now the game was just never going to end.
Right, because no one had a Monopoly.
So, I made them settle. They each had to give me $20. Just so I could say I won.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we have a couple phone calls for you before we let you go. Danny, cue it up.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from LA, big fan. This question is for Phil Ivey, and it's in reference to something that Mike Matasso said back when he hosted the show. He kept saying that you had been an aggressive player with no slow gear, but you had managed to develop it. And I was just wondering what kind of process you went through in developing that slow gear. Thanks a lot. Bye.
That's to assume Mike Matasso is to be believed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, don't believe a word Mike ever says, please. Well, you just the process of me developing the low gear was from playing with better players. And, when you're playing against really good players, you can't just bluff every pot and play all crazy and aggressive. You have to learn how to tone it down and learn how to be a little more selective when you need to be and learn when to speed it up. So I guess the process came from me playing against players where I had to develop that low gear in order to survive.
What's up, Scott, Joe, Gavin, Phil?
Check.
I love the show. It's Slamastica. Well, have just
are you high right now?
For Mr. Ivey. How do you feel about the horse event being no limit at the final table? Personally, myself, I would have loved to see horse play shown on TV because it seems like no limit's getting played out. That's basically all my questions, and thanks, guys. Love the show.
What do you think, Phil?
Come back tomorrow. Well, I was. It was all right that the final table was no limit. I mean, come on, man. You messing me up, Joe.
No, go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
It was all right. The final table was no limit. It was interesting event. It was kind of like the first TLC. They had that maybe 6 years ago, and so it was a nice little change. I mean, we were playing horse, grinding it out the whole time. And when we got down to the final table, eventually there had to be a winner. The horse tournament, if it was horse all the way through, it would have, who knows how long it would have taken. It probably would have taken it would have been even longer than the final table was. I think the final table was 12 hours. It probably would have taken 20 hours. So they had to get the tournament over with. It was fine by me.
But you didn't feel like it messed with the integrity at all of the tournament? Because the whole point of the tournament was that it was horse. And then all of a sudden it's bam, no limit. But you didn't feel that was any kind of issue?
No, because it just makes it so that you have to play every game. I mean, I mean, what shot would Gavin have if he didn't get down to the no limit at the end?
Hey, man, I came 11th. I played that pretty damn good.
That's true. You are playing pretty good, I have to admit.
They said everybody knew going into the tournament though that it was what it was. So I mean, as long as you know before the event, then I think it's totally fine to have it that way.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that was one of the toughest final tables you'd ever played at? Or was it the toughest final table you ever played at?
Yeah, I guess. I guess it was the toughest final table I ever played at. I mean, with Doyle and Chip there, they're definitely one of the best players in the world, two of the best players in the world, and the rest of the players, they were pretty good too. So I guess it was one of the tougher final tables.
Well, we will let you get back to playing with those same guys. We appreciate you coming by. Phil Ivey, everybody.
Thanks, Phil.
Peace.
Hi, this is Stephanie Larimore, Playboy Playmate, Miss June 2006. Do you want to play naked with me? Naked poker, that is. Log on to nakedpoker.com and you will automatically be entered into a free tournament where the winner takes me, Stephanie Larimore, Miss June 2006, Playboy Playmate, out on a private date. Log on to nakedpoker.com now to enter and win. I love playing naked. Naked poker, that is.
Welcome back to the circuit, everyone. We are broadcasting on Sports Byline Radio on Sirius Channel 122. We swear. We are also broadcasting on cardplayer.com and on the iTunes Music Store as a Top 10 Sports podcast.
Nice.
And I am wearing a circuit shirt right now. And we are Scott Huff, Gavin Smith, and Joe Sebok.
We
talking a little bit more poker.
We are they.
Before the end of another great week of circuit.
Yeah.
Another big week. Phil Ivey. I like the fact that he just basically will admit the fact that he can go off for a big amount and be kind of a nut job.
Right. Well, that's
pretty
part
cool.
of his whole persona. That's what makes him great. I just like to mess with Phil. Every time I see him, I just want to screw with him.
I know.
Yeah, it's fun.
I could tell that you were trying to mess him a little bit about Andy. That was pretty funny when you told everybody that he winked. That was pretty awesome. You're like, by the way, he's winking. He's like, no, Joe, not winking right now. What do you think? Do you think we can crack the top 10?
Yes, I definitely think that we can. Through word of mouth and all of your help out there, we will do it together.
Yeah, we do want to say that we appreciate that, obviously. We're very happy that we're entertaining people out there, and I want to eventually get into that top 100 as well.
Absolutely.
Next week, we'll have we know at least one person we'll have on the show, Vanessa Russo, next week. I'd like to thank all of our guests this week, including Allie Prescott and Phil Ivey tonight. I'd like to thank all of you out there that are listening for making us a Top 10 Sports podcast. And I'd like to thank you guys, as I do at the end of every week, for being good friends and good co-hosts. Thanks, Danny and Tronk, as well. Another great week of circuit. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for listening.
Have a good weekend.
Circuit.